So for several years, our next guest has been on our program to geek out about movies, TV shows, all kinds of cool stuff, things that we like.
Yeah.
And, ladies and gentlemen, he has now arrived because he, in some way or form, has ended up in an MCU film. And it's pretty damn cool. So we'll get the story from him. Please welcome from Screen Crush, which is a wonderful channel on YouTube. Please welcome Ryan Arey to our program. Hey, Ryan, how you doing?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on. I love coming on here.
Excellent. We love having you on. So, yeah, man, Nick was telling me as he was prepping, to get you on the show, that you had this oh wow moment that happened with you and a movie. You want to share that story?
Well, it wasn't a movie. It was a TV show.
Sorry.
It was Iron. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It was Ironheart. And yeah, I'm watching it. We're like watching all the little details. And anytime we would watch these things for the Easter egg videos, when there's a bunch of names on the screen, we stop and we look them up. Every single one. It's usually just like somebody's uncle or a designer on the film. But sometimes you get like, a comic book character, and there's my name right in the middle. So I assumed there was another Ryan Arey. We've all Googled ourselves.
Yeah.
There's a community of Ryan Areys out there. There's not many of us, but we are legion. We are strong. And then the producer of Ironheart, Sev Ohanian, who also produced, he's Ryan Coogler's producing partner. So he did Black Panther 2. He produced Sinners. He's a huge fan of the channel, and he slipped my name in there as an Easter egg. Yeah, I know. So he came on our channel. He's on our first episode of our new podcast, and he actually inadvertently broke a little bit of Marvel news. We didn't even realize it, but he told us that Blade was going to be a period piece at one point.
Oh.
And we didn't know. He said, "Oh, this is already out there," but it wasn't. Entertainment Weekly picked it up.
Okay. So the stop, start Blade movie, you're saying is now fully has momentum and will be a period piece. Is that where we stand with this right
Lord,
now?
No, that's not what I said at all.
Okay.
No, Blade. Kevin Feige actually just gave an interview with Variety where he said that at one point they had 4 different concepts for Blade floating around. 2 of them were period pieces. So the costume designer for Sinners, Ruth Carter, who won an Academy Award for Black Panther, was working on Blade. So she happened to have these 1930s period costumes when it was going to be a 1930s period movie. So, that concept was shelved. But then when Ryan Coogler wanted to make Sinners, my favorite movie of the year, she was like, "Oh, great. I already have," pulls out rack of multitude of costumes. I already have all these 1930s costumes set. So that's
I would have loved a Blade riff that was a period piece. That would have because I am a massive fan of the Blade storyline. Oh, that's wild.
You were talking about some of the Easter eggs that these filmmakers will put into the movie, and I just saw Fantastic Four last night, and they're in it's in the multiverse, so they're in a different universe. And their Earth is called Earth 828. And I heard that the 828 was the birth date of one of the filmmakers, like friends or family, who passed away. Did you hear anything about that by any chance?
That's not true.
Okay.
828, they revealed at the end credits, is a tribute to Jack Kirby. And
that's what
you guys,
it was.
Okay.
Yeah, and you guys made a mistake. You gave me a chance to talk about Jack Kirby.
No, Jack Kirby is
great.
towering.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, you can't, he passed away in 1994. So he didn't get his chance for cameos and stuff, right? So everybody always thinks Stan Lee created these guys, and Stan Lee was the co-creator. A lot of the times, like especially I think with the Fantastic Four, it was Jack Kirby who was the impetus for a lot. He created the Silver Surfer and Galactus. Like that's not in dispute, His imagination was incredible. Even after he left Marvel, he created like comics for DC, Darkseid, the villain Darkseid. He created all these characters and just had an amazing life. If you ever get a chance to look up Jack Kirby, like he grew up in the 20s in the Lower East Side. He fought in World War II. And all of those experiences he brought to bear in his comics and his artwork. He's just an amazing man.
Ryan, I wanted to ask you about Ironheart, and again, congratulations on having your name officially be a part of the MCU canon. It is really cool. I honestly, when I saw it on the screen, I was like, oh my God, I kind of know that guy. That's really cool. I really enjoyed Ironheart, especially the last episode, and I don't think this is a spoiler to this point because it's been out for a few weeks, but Sacha Baron Cohen showing up as Mephisto was really cool, and that's something that I know you've been looking forward to for years and years, probably dating back to like WandaVision, if not before. Did you know that was coming? Because I didn't. For me, it was a surprise, and I guess there were some spoilers out there, but I didn't know that was coming.
I am really glad that was a surprise for you. No, it leaked almost immediately. And I don't pay attention to leaks, but I also look at the news. So it wasn't even like click this to find out. Like, it was just out there. When we interviewed Sev on our podcast, Crossover Universe podcast, he said they took such pains. Everybody on the set was a crew member's or a cast member's friends and family. There's even like a family in the corner, and that was like the family of one of the people. So they tried to keep it secret, had him come in with a cloak on his head, all that stuff, and it leaked the next day. It was just in Variety, which is a shame. They could have just not called him Mephisto and called him something else. Maybe it wouldn't have leaked.
Yeah. No, I love the concept, and he's looking all jacked in these pictures they just released of Sacha Baron Cohen and his perfunctory Marvel makeover, which we all wish we had that opportunity. Ironheart for me was a mixed bag because there was so much there that I thought they were doing that was intriguing, with a character that you don't immediately like or gravitate to, and has all sorts of things where you're second guessing. And the Ryan Coogler's influence is clear throughout that, but it did set in motion some of these things that could constitute a little bit of what Feige was talking about, and sort of not railing against, but regretting the I have to do my homework before a movie concept. And do you think that is something they're in fact going to dial back on, or are they actually going to keep going with it? Because I think that's been a turnoff for some people. Like, I don't know, I didn't watch that, I don't know where I am.
I think that's why the Thunderbolts didn't do so well, and Feige admitted that too. Basically, the Thunderbolts were all characters from TV shows. There's also a problem in, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever came out in November 2021, and Ironheart, had delays because of the strikes, and then they wanted to give it time to breathe, so they shelved it, so it wasn't too much getting released at once. But then Ironheart came out in 2025, so 4 years later, and I wouldn't blame people for not remembering what happened in Wakanda Forever, or who Riri Williams is, or her connection to Tony Stark, or the armor. That happened 4 years ago. So I think, for instance, had come out right after Wakanda Forever, it would have had a lot of momentum. And I'm talking like in an ideal universe where there's no production delays or schedules or anything like that. But you can also say a show like Ms. Marvel probably should have been released in the run up to Captain Marvel, to the movie. So it was like fresh in people's minds. But according to what he said, they're going to scale back the TV shows to one a year, which I think is a big mistake and makes me sad. And they're also going to do a little less interconnectivity so it doesn't feel like homework. So Daredevil will probably stay on the small screen for a while, and then other characters will, like Moon Knight, may get the big screen treatment.
Well, I get, obviously, a lot of what you do is predicated on constant content coming in.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that believes the creative well gets depleted when you have so much being generated, and that... And again, there's no hard and fast rule to this. If it's good, it's good. I happen to like the Thunderbolts. It was actually, I never take the advance on any of this stuff because there's an entrenched group of people whose careers are based on the pre-hating of things. But then there are people who are astute, as are you, and don't like things. So you have to take it on a case-per-case basis. So it feels to me, with Superman and with the advance on the Fantastic Four movie, and I would say the Thunderbolts was a bit of a surprise for me, that things are starting to feel a little bit 5 years ago-ish.
Yeah, I really hope so. What you saw over the past 5 years, and I think this was spurred on by the pandemic, and also anytime a property is owned by a corporation, it's always going to be a victim of its own success, because the corporation is always going to say, well, how come you can't do more? You got to do more. You got to do more. So that's what happened to stories. It means they're looking for filler.
Yeah.
And I think that they had to get this pressure out. They had this pressure to get everything out as much as possible. When Bob Iger came back into Disney, he said, all right, we're going to pump the brakes. We're not going to pour endless amounts of money into Disney Plus shows. Which, again, I personally think that the TV shows are something they should continue to pursue. They shouldn't make the movies feel like homework. But we talk about, things get watered down. I'm from an era when we would get 24 episodes of a TV show a season and love it. Like if you watch Star Trek Deep Space Nine, that's an incredible show.
Yeah.
To 20 plus episodes a season. So I hope that they don't scale back the TV shows to that extent, because I truly love the excitement of a TV show every week.
It's funny. Let me ask you about Daredevil, because that had they reshot, I think, 5 Daredevil Reborn, 5 or 6 episodes. Feige came in and said, no, we got to get back to this. I think that the Netflix Marvel series are just fantastic uniformly, and even the ones that aren't that, maybe Iron Fist was okay, but that original run, that original Daredevil was amazing. They tried to get to it with Marvel's run at it, but I can see, with all these corporations and everyone wants their sort of stamp on it, that show was originally so aggressive, unbelievably aggressive. If they did something more like that, and there was more of a chasm between what we know the theatrical stuff to be and the streaming stuff, I think that would work better. But again, not to beat a dead horse here, but the concept of the homework, I think, is just a killer. It just makes people say, forget this.
Well, I'll tell you, it's interesting. I don't know if you probably watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because that came out 4 years ago and everybody was still excited. I actually thought that you could go into Captain America Brave New World and not having watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier and been fine. You would wonder, who the hell is Isaiah Bradley? But otherwise, I thought it was a really good transfer. The reason that movie was confusing was because of the references to a movie from 2008 from a different studio that nobody watched. So
the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That felt like homework. I actually thought the way they handled the TV was great, because in comics, you would have like your ongoing Avengers title, right? And then maybe in one issue, Captain America would be wearing a different uniform, and the editor would have a note to find out why Cap is wearing a different uniform. Check out Captain America number 436 or whatever. So it's a footnote. It doesn't matter. If you know the information, you feel great. If you don't, you can enjoy the story you're watching. That's the way they should always pursue these things.
Ryan, while we have you on, I wanted to thank you, because you sent some merch. And speaking of Daredevil, this one's for Steve. And I know one of the great ways to support Screen Crush is by buying the merch. Steve, this one's for you. It's a Fisk Can Fix It 25.
Oh!
So this one's for Steve.
Dude, thank you.
And we have yard signs.
Yeah, and then we got...
That's great.
By the way, you can't, those performances, his performance in particular, is always towering. He can always surpass the material.
Yeah, he's awesome. And so there's just some great shirts that you guys offer up, Ryan. Casey, this one's for you. This is a Spaceballs themed one.
Oh, I love Spaceballs.
I know, that's why I got it for you.
Of all time.
And
Me.
This one's mine, and then I'll get yours, Preston. Mine is Pippin's Second Breakfast Diner from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And then Preston, we got one from Wolverine and Deadpool for you.
Oh, nice. It's a reference to Gambit.
Gambit, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Gambit is one of
I'm about to make
Preston's...
a name for myself.
Gambit's one of
Make a
Preston's
name for
favorites.
myself.
Yeah. So, and Casey got to see Fantastic Four last night, and without giving any spoilers away, you saw it earlier this week, Ryan, and what are your thoughts?
I loved it. For me, I'm a Fantastic Four comic book fan, and it's the best translation you'll see of the team. And this is not a spoiler. The reason it translates so well it's not just the visuals and the tone. It's because these are 4 people who love and care about each other. And I think the other Fantastic Four movies made it seem like they were more work friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Or work haters. Like in the Fant Four Stick movie from 2015, I'm rewatching that now. They genuinely don't appear to like each other.
Yeah.
But in this movie, you can watch it in scenes they've released where you just really feel the love they have for one another, and that kind of extends to a love for the entire planet. It's a great movie.
So the concept, obviously, the retro look, and obviously we're talking about a multiverse thing, and not to give too much away, but and I'm very excited to see it. The score by Michael Giacchino is getting a lot of accolades as well. It was a friend of the show. So from here, we're looking at Avengers Doomsday, right? And I was just doing a little bit of prep talking in preparation for talking to you, Ryan. I don't know if the cast is quadrupled, but I'm looking at what could be the most massive amount of cameos I've ever seen in a film from people throughout all of these movies. From what you've heard, will that be intact? Is that the plan, to have all of that appear in the movie?
Yeah, the day they announced the cast, they showed cast chairs one at a time every 15 minutes. And that day is going to live and burned into my mind forever because we were watching every second of it. And you're right. They've added people since then. Tom Holland wasn't even on those chairs. I don't ever count out the Russo brothers when it comes to a Marvel movie. And I would, if you would have told me that Civil War and Infinity War and Endgame would have worked with the number of characters they had, I wouldn't have believed you. The thing that I have faith in with these guys and with their writers is I don't think they're adding cameos in to add them in. I think they're adding them in for a reason.
Yeah.
And some of these people are cameos like they're on a different Earth, like the X-Men. We don't know how long Magneto is going to be in it. You know, he may just be in a couple scenes. And the other thing is, because we've seen these characters in past movies, we don't necessarily need to get a fulfilling story arc for Cyclops.
No, agreed.
Yeah.
To me, I'm excited because, Preston, you're seeing all of the original, the Bryan Singer movies, the X-Men that appeared in those that we loved. And yes, and I agree, the Russo brothers have that sort of James Gunnian ability to bring a large group together and make it work. So when is the estimated release for that?
It just got pushed back, which is a good thing, to December next year.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So let's talk about James Gunn and let's talk about Superman. He is helming the new DCU. I was just reading. He's got a lot set in stone. My question is, as a massive Batman fan, what is the status of his Batman movie, and is anyone in particular leading the pack of potential Bruce Wayne Batman?
They're really tight-lipped about Batman so far. We only know a couple things for sure. One, that Matt Reeves just delivered his script for the Batman 2. Yeah. And the Batman 2 is not connected to the Superman movie. It's what they call an Elseworld story. It's just a different universe, right? So it's in its own little pocket thing. So he did just deliver that script. The other thing that we know is the Batman movie at one point was going to be called Batman Brave and the Bold. It's about an older Batman who has to take on a new Robin, who is his son Damian Wayne from the comics. But it's an interesting inverse because we expect Batman to be dark and for Robin to be really sunny. But Damian Wayne was trained by the Guild of Assassins that you saw in the Christopher Nolan movies, and he's a murderer. Like, he was just trained to kill people. So now you have gruff Batman trying to be like, wait, don't kill that guy. And he has to kind of... So it's a fun concept.
I like that.
And what James Gunn has said about it was, they're taking their time. They don't want to stack two Batman movies up in the same summer. It has a director, Andy Muschietti, who did The Flash, which I know a lot of people didn't like. I thought it was a pretty good movie, and the mistakes in it weren't his fault. But I think they're doing the right thing by not rushing him out. That being said, after Superman was released, all of a sudden we are hearing like, hey, Wonder Woman's getting fast-tracked. Like, I think that they're going, okay, this is working. Let's try to get these main characters out in addition to all these smaller characters to get the Justice League together.
Just a quick batting around of Superman, and not to give away spoilers for people who still haven't seen it. It's doing solidly with continuing business domestically. The European markets have fallen off just a bit, but still, this looks to be what they would consider a success, a good sign, and portends well for the future. What was your takeaway from this movie, from Superman, and how did you think? Because a lot was riding on this. How do you feel they did?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, Superman and Fantastic Four, I think, work for the same reason, and that is that they're hopeful, optimistic, and colorful. But I'm not saying every superhero movie needs to be that. These are superheroes that are hopeful, optimistic, and colorful in the comics. So when they get a Batman movie, it'll probably go back to being dark, and there's other projects that will also be dark. I think that the lesson here is you don't have to feel boxed in by the comics, but you do need to think about what is it about these characters that resonated with people. You know, with the last Fantastic Four movie and with Man of Steel, we had a couple visionary directors who were trying their own grim, dark take on the material that frankly didn't really resonate. In fact, I don't think dark and gritty reboots have ever worked except for Battlestar Galactica. So yeah, that's what I think the takeaway is. And I think Superman and Fantastic Four are both going to make $1 billion.
Speaking of Superman and Batman, I wanted to ask your opinion on this, Ryan, and this is kind of jumping off a little bit here. Steve and I, we all loved Zack Snyder's Justice League. Absolutely loved it. Zach's actually a friend of our show. I have his number in my phone. I could probably text him and ask him this question, but I'm not going to do it because every now and then I will go on YouTube and I will seek out that end credit scene with Jared Leto as Joker and talking to Batman. We're never going to see that happen, are we? We're never going to see that story continue, which is too bad because that end scene is just absolutely fan-freaking-tastic.
Well, you kind of can see it. So we did a video recently about this that was about the history of the DC Extended Universe, which is just a corporate mess up from beginning to end, right? With how they threw different stuff against the wall to see what would stick. But in that, we talked about this, where Zack Snyder, after he had been, I'll be diplomatic and use the word dismissed, I would say unfairly dismissed from directing the Justice League while he was on a leave of absence, he went ahead and leaked the storyboards for his version of Justice League and for Justice League 2. So we know what the story was going to be. We know why in Batman versus Superman, the Flash appeared and said Lois Lane is the key. That's all out there. And it's based on, comic books or stories like Injustice and other things like that are popular stories. I don't know if you want me to spoil it for you if you want to go out there. Well, you'll never see the movie, but you can at least find out what the story was.
Well, I do want to find that out. I want to know what happened. So where do I go seek that information out?
Google.
Fair enough. I have that.
I imagine we've covered it on ScreenCrush.com.
Right.
I could give you the gist now, but I don't know.
Go ahead.
Yeah, do a short version.
Well,
sure.
Zach could tell you better than me. So if you have Zach's number, you should ask him. But unless it's a sore subject, the gist of it, from what I remember off the top of my head, was that Superman comes back to life, I think first. But while Superman was dead, Batman and Lois Lane had a relationship, and she got pregnant with his kid, and then Lois Lane was killed by the Joker, which drove Superman insane, turned him evil, which is why in that Nightmare with a K flash forward in Batman v Superman, you see Superman being evil and stuff, right? Because Darkseid basically took control of him because his defenses were weakened. And if you watch the Snyder's Justice League, there's hints to all of that.
Yes.
In that last act that were not included in the theatrical movie. So that's that was part 2. And then part 3, I think, was going to be set in that dystopia, apocalypse, nightmare world where apparently Leto and Affleck were going to get the team up. The really cool part about that was, again, we talked about this in our video. The reason he decided to put Leto in that scene is he was like, it's a real shame that Leto and Affleck never got to share a scene in this universe. So he really just kind of did that for fans of the universe, so they could kind of have at least a small moment. Okay, I know that we're probably scared a lot of people away just by talking this deep into this, but
we can't help it.
But why does Joker say to him, "You can't kill me, you need me"? Do you know why?
No.
Damn it!
And I don't know. I don't know if Zack Snyder wouldn't know that. I don't know. Okay. For whatever, maybe it probably has something to do with the time travel-y, timey-wimey stuff that they're going to handle. And if that is out there, I just don't know it.
The great thing about all this stuff, Ryan, is that I take when what's your spin on it? When a director comes out or they say Rob Pattinson's going to play Batman, I'm like, okay, let's see what you got. Hope springs. These are characters, and I think they're sort of anomalous in many ways. I mean, Jay Gatsby is always going to have to be Jay Gatsby. 90%. But you can do all sorts of riffs on these things, which I think makes them sort of a never-ending fountain of possibility. So in this case, I'm fine with Otherworld. I loved the Batman. I love that. And to see what the take is. And I am a big fan of Man of Steel. I'm a big fan of the Snyder take. But I also love the buoyant, bright Superman as it exists. And it can be in whatever mood you are in, what you may be in the mood for. Perhaps your girlfriend's left you. Then Man of Steel. Perhaps you just got the car you've always wanted. Then Superman. James Gunn was talking about, which I thought was kind of wild. He says the favorite thing he's ever worked on has been the Peacemaker series. Have you heard that?
So good.
It is so good. Yeah. And what can we expect from the new season?
So we should be getting a Comic-Con trailer for that soon. I think tomorrow or Friday or Saturday. I'm in Fantastic Four world right now, so Comic-Con's not even on my radar. That's interesting. I don't know if you guys saw the trailer for season 2, but the multiverse is in it. And you would think with Marvel and the multiverse saga being kind of wobbly, they wouldn't really do that. But there it is.
There it is, yeah.
And it's got more ties, and there's characters that appear in Superman who are going to be in that show. And I think you're going to see... I think they're going to do it right. I don't think it's ever going to feel like homework, like what you were saying with Marvel earlier. I think that when these characters pop up in different things, they're going to do a good job of reintroducing them. And if you did see Guy Gardner in Superman, great. And if you didn't, you get the feel for who he is in Peacemaker season 2.
There we go. Because Peacemaker himself is in the Superman movie, his little cameo. So,
He's got a little cameo. Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to remind people with Screen Crush, if you are going to see Fantastic Four, any movie that is, in this kind of genre, you guys, Ryan, will post videos. I'm looking on your Instagram account and says what you need to know before you go see the Fantastic Four.
Primer.
So if there is a movie you're like, I don't know, man, I haven't followed enough to know really. Watch the Screen Crush videos ahead of time. They'll give you a footnote or a little Cliff's Notes on what you should know beforehand so you're not confused going in. So you guys are a great source of that.
Thank you. And tonight we will have our Ending Explained video up for Fantastic Four.
Excellent.
Another teaser that you guys have, or at least a comment on a teaser, is for the new Stranger Things Season 5 coming up, which I'm very excited about. My youngest and I are currently rewatching the series. We're on Season 3 right now, loving every bit of it, so I'm very, very excited about that. Did you guys pick up on some telling things in the teaser for that?
A little bit. Stranger Things, the Duffer Brothers are great at not revealing much. They'll show you everybody facing a monster, but there's no way, for instance, from season 4, spoiler for season 4, that you would know that monster was connected to 11 and all these other things. So there's mostly with those trailers, I'm able to go, well, that's from The Shining. It's like very much this was from that. And I'm glad, because I'll be honest, my least favorite part of my job is doing trailer breakdowns, because I don't like being spoiled for things.
I've spent some time avoiding trailers for that very reason. If it's something I'm really looking forward to, I'm like, I just want to go in blind.
I'm so weak. Ryan, I'm weak. I admit it, and I would love to be able to avert my gaze, but I suck it all up like a sponge. And now I've just trained myself to. In fact, I'll check your stuff out even if I haven't seen the movie. I don't mind spoilers. I just want to get every bit of it. I know I run contrary to the way you should take the movie in, but that's it. I'm a heroin addict. What can I say?
Well, I went in blind. It's hard for me to do that, but I went in blind for Last Jedi, and I'm one of the people who like that movie, and that was a great experience. It reminded me of when I was a teenager and would be like, well, what's playing? Let's just go see Coach Carter, having not known anything about it. You know what I mean? Like, let's go watch Rainmaker. What Matt Damon's in it, whatever. And that's kind of like the life I wish I could lead. And how great is it though when you find a show on Netflix you know nothing about? Like, I don't know if you guys saw 4 seasons with Tina Fey. I didn't know anything about the original movie. Great show, and there's a twist that really surprised me. So I love being surprised.
If you can find those things to keep that way, it's always a good experience.
Ryan, as I was watching the movie last night, I'm looking at The Thing, and I was like, I wonder. And listen, I know that Thing was a human being and gets zapped by something in space, and that's how he ended up becoming a rock guy. But I'm like, could he be related to Korg? Could that originate from the rock planet that Korg is from? Korg is obviously from the Thor movies, but is that a possibility?
I'll tell you, of all the Thing questions you could ask, this is the most G-rated, so I'm glad that you went there with it.
We know where those questions go.
Like in the movie Mallrats, where Stan Lee actually has to answer that question. So, no, he's not directly related, right? Because he is a human, it's a different thing in plants. But I will say this, Jack Kirby created the look of both characters, so he kind of reused the rock guy. But here's the fun thing about it. And this is what makes the Fantastic Four so cool for its time, right? So superheroes went way out of vogue after the war. They just weren't as popular. Comic books were filled with horror books, monster books, sci-fi stuff, cowboys, and believe it or not, romance comics were huge. So Jack Kirby did all that. As soon as there wasn't work in superheroes, he did that. He made these classic monster books. What made the Fantastic Four so cool is that they took all of that. It's like how we talk about how Star Wars is a combination of all these different things. That's what the Fantastic Four was. It took all of those different books, it put them into one concept, but then it added in this realism where Ben Grimm talked like Jack Kirby. He smoked cigars. He hated the Human Torch. They fought all the time. He was angry and resentful. And Korg was a monster who first appeared in the first appearance of Thor, which was Journeys into Mystery, something, I think 129. So he was created at the exact same era. So there is some DNA in that direction.
Okay.
Ryan, while we have you on, I have to mention how great Andor was season 2. And the way that, because I don't think we've had a chance to speak with you since then, the setup to what happens between the Empire and the Rebellion, how the Rebellion gets built, but also just these allegories about fascism and fake news. And, it's so well written. I love that they took the time to build this world, to build this universe over 2 seasons. I don't mind that it was 2 seasons, leading up to Rogue One. What are your thoughts about Andor? And I'm trying to convince Preston to watch it because he kind of dipped out of the Star Wars universe. But I think you can watch Andor and not even give a crap about Star Wars. I think that's how good it is.
It is. The only connection you really need to know at the start of the show is there's a little card that says 5 BBY, and you're like, what the hell does that mean? Which it means before the Battle of Yavin. No, Andor is the best Star Wars. Like apart from like the original trilogy and wherever you stand in your generation, it was fun. I did not, from the beginning, did not expect the show to be that great. And we interviewed Tony Gilroy. We're about to have him on our podcast too. He didn't. I think the key here is that like he did not want to tell a Star Wars story. He's not a guy who reads the comics and watches the cartoons. He just wanted to tell a story about revolution and fascism. And he found this perfect little universe to explain that. I think that's really the difference. Like George Lucas didn't set out to tell a Star Wars story. He wanted to tell a story about escapism that was kind of a mashup of all of his favorite movies. And I think that's the difference between, I'm not going to pick on anybody, but there's a lot of Star Wars media that frankly is a Star Wars story first. Like I grew up with the original trilogy and I'm doing my version of the original trilogy. And Tony Gilroy was like, no, I just want to do a movie that's like a combination of the Battle of Algiers and the rise of Stalin and stuff like that.
I would always say that the best of these things, of these genre things, you could take the fantastical element out of it and it would stand on its own as good dramas. What Rod Serling always pursued in his writing. You take the demon out and it becomes, the politician that's, screwing people over. It's applicable. And that's the way it always works the best. So I agree with you 100%.
Nice.
Star Wars is a fairy tale. A couple guys go save a princess from a castle.
That's it. Yeah,
absolutely. All right. Did we all get our fill here? Are we filled up?
I got about another hour in me, but we can't do it.
Because we covered a lot of ground here with Ryan. You mentioned the Comic-Con coming up, so you guys are going to get glean a lot of stuff from that, I would imagine, so people can watch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
your videos.
Some good trailers coming out.
It's called Screen Crush. You'll want to check this out, before you go see films, or if you need a little deeper insight into what's going on or what happened after you saw the movie and little Easter eggs and stuff that you missed out on. They cover it all. You can go to ScreenCrush.com. I follow them on YouTube. That's a good spot to do it.
They're great.
Social media as well. You can go to Screen Crush on Instagram.
And thanks for our shirts.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. And it's good to talk to you, Ryan. Thanks for joining us, brother.
Let me know when you need more shirts. ScreenCrush.com. Thanks, guys.
Ryan Arey, guys, from ScreenCrush.com. You know what? I'll take this moment to share something that I've been meaning to do for a while, and it's apropos because Wonder Woman was mentioned in that conversation.
Oh, man.
I think, what is the most unique thing ever sent to me in my career. It was sent to all of us. My name was on it. So I got a handwritten letter from this person. And it says, hey, bitches, longtime listener here. I've been listening for a few years now, and especially for the past couple, as I've been working out and lost 345 pounds.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Going from 630 to 295.
Wow.
And they said, I have an addition for your Sharts and Crafts section, in particular for Steve. So I'm going to take this out.
Oh.
Yeah. So you'll need to see this if you're following us on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. I've never seen anything quite like this. And I guess his name is Ernest, by the way.
Yes.
Ernest Stackhouse. And he made this. And
You made it?
It is impressive.
It is a chainmail shirt
Oh, my God.
or top
Yeah.
in the style of Wonder Woman.
All right.
And it's made entirely of chain mail. Look at
That's
this.
amazing.
And it's for
How
Steve?
heavy is that?
It's for Steve. Or it says and I have an addition for your Sharts and Crafts, in particular for Steve. So,
Well, I will. What I will do is I will be the owner, but I will donate it, and then we can put a plaque next to it, Preston, that says "Donated to the Sharts and Crafts Museum."
I'm going to try and put it
Yeah, I was
on.
going to say put it on. You want me to help you?
Yeah, I need help. The thing is heavy.
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
chain is right.
Yeah, and I've got to take off my headphones.
Yeah,
Take off my glasses, too.
and take off your pants. Is there any give in that?
Not really.
Is it going to be tight?
Yeah, it'll work.
Hey, Preston?
Okay, yeah.
Wow.
There we go.
beautiful.
You do
fits.
look beautiful.
Wow.
Now all we need is an MRI machine.
Yeah.
You have to call me princess.
That is amazing.
Isn't it?
Fix your W.
All right, ready? Case?
Yeah. Oh.
Stab me.
Yeah.
Okay, grab those scissors and stab me. Ah! Look at that. It bounces right off.
Yes.
All right, now get a giant dildo and hit him with it.
Yeah.
Like in the movie.
Actually, I'm going to take these.
No,
So
not the dildo.
scissors. And it kind of protects, I think.
I wonder how long it took to make that because there's so many details. It's so intricate.
Yeah.
And what kind of knitting needles do you use?
That's a good question. So,
I mean, so how is chainmail of yore made? The process has to be, because that was actually literally used to hopefully save your life in a sword battle.
very slowly. All right,
Yeah.
Case is going to hit me with the dildo.
All right.
Here we go.
Okay.
Do I go balls?
Balls first.
Okay.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, look at this.
Yeah. All right. How about this one?
I'll say it again. I do buttholes.
You want me to do butthole? Here we go.
No, you don't. Not the buttholes.
It's amazing. Now the head. Now the head.
I'm good.
Now the glands.
So thank you, Ernest, for your very interesting gift that you sent to us. We'll add this to the Shards and Crafts section.
I think you could wear that out.
I think so. It's although, boy, if your nipple got caught in between one of these, things, that would hurt quite a bit.
You'd be Pink Floyded.
Did it come with a sash, a belt, or is that the lasso?
That's the lasso.
The golden lariat, they call it. So it is. It makes you tell the truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, I got it right here. Whole thing. So thank you, Ernest.
I love Gal Gadot, and I thought she did a great job as Wonder Woman. But have you seen the memes going around of the people who do the impression of her acting?
No.
Max Lord. Yes, her delivery. She has a very unique delivery. So.
And it's Linda Carter's birthday today.
Look at
and
all
Linda
this.
Carter appears in Wonder Woman 1984.
There we go. And Pedro Pascal's in that, and he's in Fantastic
And
Four.
he plays Max Lord.
Wow.
Preston, is it heavy?
Not crazy. I
Okay.
mean, it's heavier than a shirt.
So what would the panties be like for that?
Comfy, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, all right. We're going to take a break. I'm going to take this off. We'll be back in a moment. And what are we doing next? Oh, yeah. We got the Bizarre File on the way. And our friends from the Centurion stopping in. We'll be right back.